Hey everybody, this is Robert Jackson, and thank you for tuning in to Station Square. And yeah, hoping everybody is doing well out there. Just please ignore I know for some of my interviews, I have this really weird lighting on my face, so I'm trying to get that fixed. So um, please, disregard that. But yeah, if you have any suggestions in the future, let me know. Yeah, I think this has been a quite a hectic month, which is probably the reason why this might be intentional because you see bags under my eyes. I'm kidding, the shadows. But yeah, thank you for joining me once again. And we have our lovely special guest who is joining me on her third interview that we've done.
Is it the third?
Three.
Second or
Yeah, let me
third? One of those, yeah.
Yeah, one of the ones. I mean, I'm back with that. But anyways, thank you so much for joining me, Jayme, once again on Station Square Podcast. How are you doing on this lovely Tuesday after evening now, I guess?
Hi, Robert. Thank you so much for having me back. It's always a pleasure to talk to you. I am doing great. Just coming off of a very relaxing holiday weekend. I had the rare opportunity to be able to be a little couch potato and just kind of relax and recharge. And so I'm feeling refreshed and ready to jump into the rest of the week.
Same, man. Like, I think when we were talking, a couple of weeks ago before we even set this up, I was just in the middle of casting for two very ambitious projects, which you should be seeing the casting announcements pretty soonish as of the time of this recording, and doing a bunch of other stuff. And yeah, I'm super excited about that. And yeah, it's just been a lot, just catching up with recordings. I got my little booth behind me once again, and I just joke around that I never kind of leave my room without it.
Yeah.
It's just always behind me. Like if I need to do something, I just hop in here, get knock that out, bada bing, bada boom, we're done.
Oh, for sure. And that's the nice thing about having a closet booth, right? Because mine's just off camera here as well. It's like it's just a
Yeah,
step away if you need to go in it and do something.
exactly. But I guess with all of that said, you may notice that we're kind of like since today, I mean, look, I just have my Mario shirt, which is, it has blue around it, but this month is Mental Health Awareness Month, so we may or may not be, discussing it a little bit during this episode on how much time that we have here anyway. So, yeah, but I think pink is also nice because we got to celebrate love and joy, just hearts all around, especially during these crazy times. So, yeah, and I think crazy is kind of the best way to describe, how this year has been going since, we last did the podcast like last year. So, yeah, since we kind of talked like off camera about what you've been mainly up to, share with the audience about what you've been kind of, dabbling into as of late. Let's hear it.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Well, as some people know who are listening to this, I'm sure we're still in the middle of a interactive media strike, so for video games and everything. So I've been doing my best to stay informed in that. Been down at the picket line some for that as well, and so hopefully we'll get some kind of outcome for that that works well for everybody soon. Um, but in the meantime, I've been very busy auditioning. I'm very pleased to say I just announced last week, actually, that I was cast in an audio drama called Cerulean Summer. And I'm really, really excited. It's got a stacked cast of really great people, and I love the team over there, Kiko and everybody's behind it. So we're going to be recording that coming up here really soon, like in the next week or so, the first episode of it. So I'm very excited for that to check out and be able to share more of that as that comes out. I've been, yeah, auditioning a lot for a lot of projects. As I may have mentioned, I think in the past episode, I work in casting at Terry Berland Casting as well. And so we've been blessed to be very, very busy casting several different voiceover projects right now. And so that's been keeping me very busy the past several weeks. We're almost over the hump of a huge package that we're working on right now for a commercial voiceover thing for a client. But that's been really fun because it's a variety of different spots, and so we get to hear a bunch of different talent and accents and characters and all kinds of fun stuff for that. So yes, I've been doing that. I've been doing some voiceover coaching because I don't remember if I told you that, but I do coaching for people as well. And in fact, tomorrow I'm teaching another class once again at Sound On Studio here, a Zoom class on commercial voiceover, and that's something that I'm really excited. I just found out that it was a sold out class, and so I'm very much looking forward to sharing not only my knowledge from having worked in and booked commercial voiceover work, but in working in commercial voiceover casting for the past several years. There's so much I've learned that I don't think most people know. And so I love being able to share that wisdom and help educate and empower other actors to be able to do that as well. So, yeah, by the time this comes out, I'm sure it will have come and gone. But if you guys want to take another one with me, just keep a lookout because I do them periodically with that studio. But yeah, so I've been doing that, and I'm getting back into my writing as well. I have several animated projects in various stages of development, and I had to put it on the back burner for a little bit because some, life things happened. I moved into a new apartment since we last spoke and stuff like that, and so now that I'm getting resettled, I can refocus my energy on that. And so I have currently two different animated shorts that are completed and script blocked. And so now I'm in the process of working with storyboard artists to get all of that stuff together and move that into the next phases of production. So I'm very excited to be able to talk more about those coming up. Um, and then, yeah, when I'm not doing all of those things, just trying to, work on things for fun. Something very brand new, this is cutting edge, that I'm getting into is a friend of mine prints 3D models, and I love to paint. And so I had him, I'm on the shelf behind me here, I plan on putting models of my favorite female video game heroines. And so I had him print out a couple for me already. And so now I'm getting ready to learn the technique of how to paint them and everything, and put them together for the first time. So I'm really looking forward to picking up that hobby, in addition to all the other stuff that I do for fun. But it sounds exhausting, which is why this past weekend was nice to just relax because I'm always busy doing something, it seems.
We're just pretty much alike because literally, I think this weekend was kind of like the first time, and I probably talked about this with you privately, but dealing with some family emergency stuff, and on top of casting, my big projects, and doing a lot of this voiceover stuff just left me completely just wiped. Like literally, just my brain was just it just flew on by. So that's why I'm just here today. Got a good workout in. I'm in the mood of doing a podcast recording. So, hey, I'm not complaining. God is good.
Absolutely, that he is.
Yeah. So I guess there's so many questions. And like, yo, just if we do a number four, which is kind of insane, doing four interviews with the same guest, like we could probably talk more about your little stuff that you've got cooking up. And maybe the same for me. Who knows? Yeah.
Yeah.
By the way,
We'll
stay
just
tuned
make
in
it an
too.
ongoing series of us just catching up on all of our stuff.
Yeah, just chat and chill podcast with Robert Jackson and Jayme Mantos. Let's do it.
Let's
Boom.
go.
Yeah. But actually, stick around for June because I may have something. I may be cooking up something for the podcast, so stick around for that. But anyway, so plugging over. Yeah, because I know there's a lot of questions to go over, but unfortunately, not enough time. I'm sad, but always the next time. But yeah, with all of that said, you've mentioned, what you've been partaking in, hobbies, and all that good jazz. What would you say is something that is so much just creatively that just gives you so much joy as a creative artist, like so fulfilling and so that just makes everything all worth it with your endeavors, whether it's writing, acting, creating, just pretty much the jack of all trades that you're kind of doing as of right now.
Yeah, and it's so funny you say that actually because I was just telling some friends the other night. Like, I feel that I'm very much a jack of all trades, master of none. And that used to bother me when I was younger because I was like, no, I want to be the best of the best. And it's like, no, I actually
Like
just
no
really.
one ever was.
Yeah, exactly. Like in the 80s sweats. Yeah, but that's the
Horrifying.
thing, I have a lot of varied interests and I like to do a lot of things. And so I like the older I get, the more I'm at peace with just being like, that's fine. I like being good at a bunch of different things. I don't need to be like one of the elite best of anything. So,
I
um,
strive for brilliance.
yeah, exactly. Shoot for the
But yeah.
moon. But like, I will answer your question in two parts because I think I have two different answers for this. One being from a creatively fulfilling place regarding career. Obviously, the acting is for sure, but I think I really do love writing because I've been a writer my entire life as well, in tandem with being an actor, and I really enjoy the immersiveness of world building, right? Like, I love being able to develop characters and their backstories and the setting and the scene and the culture and the, mythology, everything, the lore, everything around it. And the way that I write personally is I have an idea for something, but sometimes it'll come in spurts. Maybe it's like bits of a conversation here, an idea for a scene here. And so I will just start writing, and I kind of write movies and things in order, like you're watching the movie, because it's almost like it's just kind of coming to me, and I can just kind of see the movie playing out, and I'm just dictating what's happening. So usually for my first draft, that's what I do is I go ahead and pretty much write out the whole thing, and then I'll go back and fine tune or switch things around if it's not feeling organic or something needs to be amped up or punched up or something like that. But I really loved getting to just dive into character work and learning the nuances. And the fun thing is I may start with one thing and then it'll end up something totally different by the end of it, because then I feel like the more I get to know these characters and their stories and their motivations and all of that, the more they reveal themselves to me, and I surprise myself in the process of writing as well. And so that's something that's really fulfilling to me, especially as an actor too. I'm sure you can understand as a creative because you have your own projects that you're passionate about. Is like, I love being an actor and getting to come in and be a collaborator in that sense to somebody else's story and just help elevate it to their vision. But I also love being able to be the one who creates it, and I get to be in the driver's seat of that as well instead of always just being like a player who comes in. So I love writing in that regard and telling different stories, different genres, different styles. I love playing around with all kinds of different things. Like right now, I have five different animated projects in development, and they're all tonally very different from each other. And that's so much fun to play around with. And then I will say, on the hobby side of things, something that's really fulfilling to me is I love music. I've been playing music since I was a little kid, since I was about 5, when my mom started me on piano, and my dad was a musician, my uncle's a musician, and so it runs in my family. And that's something that I love to do, like just for me, not for anything related to my career or monetization. I just find music very healing and fulfilling and fun and cathartic to play. So a lot of times, if I'm having a stressful day or something like that, I'll just go sit down at my piano for a bit and just kind of either write songs and play things, or I'll just pull out a songbook and do that. I'm also teaching myself in my free time how to play the acoustic guitar and the banjo right now. So, in fact, a friend of mine sent me a video the other day of one of the songs. I think it's concerning hobbits from Lord of the Rings, from specifically the Fellowship. And so it was a girl that was playing it on the banjo. And so I was like, oh, that's the next thing I'm going to learn how to play on the banjo, is the song from Lord of the Rings. So I like the challenge of being able to learn how to play music as well. And I find that really fulfilling.
I'm right on. I'm kind of with you all the way when it comes to all the stuff that you just mentioned. I mean, just having something that just kind of comes to me naturally and then just putting it into paper, or just having personal experiences in your life. Like, for instance, my big project that I announced on Twitter, which is Solomon Shrine, which is based on an actual camping trip that I went to as a kid with my youth group. And, yeah, and so it's just kind of finding the little, nuances in that, and then just adding your own unique twist or edge to it that just kind of makes it a lot of fun. As for the other one, Furious Five, that's somebody else's thing. You might as well just ask them. Yeah, but that's just kind of like when we base some of our own personal stories and just turn it into art, that's like, it can be very therapeutic. And speaking of therapeutic, this is a perfect segue to my next question. So, for mental health, since it is still, the Mental Health Awareness Month, what is, I don't know if you've also discussed this, like one of the two past couple times we spoke, but what was something that you would like to share with the audience regarding like, just self-care, taking care of yourself, so on and so forth? Because I know you've shared your story before, but for those that might be, trickling in that are just now tuning into my channel, tell us your testimony or story, what have you. Go ahead.
Yeah, for sure. So I personally have always been very passionate advocate for mental health awareness and education and destigmatization as well. Just because, it's something that everybody has. And I feel like for years it was something that people kind of swept under the rug. You didn't really talk about it. People didn't really go to therapy. There was a lot of, shame and things about that. And I love that we're getting to a place now in our society where people are being more open and are talking about it and are seeking help, be it from people in their community, friends, family, professional help. Because, mental health is just as important as physical health. In fact, the two are very closely interlinked, as science would go on to prove. So, being able to address that as well is no different than going to a doctor for a checkup or if you feel like something's off, addressing it. And myself, I grew up um, with moderate to severe depression. It kicked in when I was around 12 years old when my parents were going through their separation and everything. And um, it's only got worse and worse to the point where I reached a point where, trigger warning for anybody, I started to have thoughts of possibly ending my life or things like that, where it got very dark. And I didn't feel like I had anybody to talk to. Or if I did talk to people, people kind of dismissed it and were like, oh, well, you're just a teenager. It's hormones. It's whatever. And it was not treated the way that it should have been. And so, as I got older, I sought out help on my own after, leaning into community and peers and trusted people over time. And I got into therapy, and I know that's not for everybody, so I'm not here to push anything on anyone. For me personally, it has been so helpful. I've since been diagnosed with clinical depression and general anxiety disorder, as well as ADHD. And so I think getting that clarification really, it was not only validating for all of the years of what I had experienced up until now, but it helped give me clarity on being able to give a name to those feelings. And then the easier that you can do that, the more free I felt to be able to talk about it. And so I love whenever I get the opportunity to work with different mental health organizations and nonprofits and things like that, because I love the work that we're doing. And the more that I feel, at least for myself personally, that I can be vulnerable and share my story and put things out there, I love to reaffirm that for other people, to give them the opportunity and safe space to be able to do the same. And that's something that I always tell people as well. Like, I'm always a safe space on or offline if people want to talk to me about anything. I never want anyone to feel the way that I felt. So I always like to open that up to other people. But I love, I just think it's beautiful, and it's something that I'm very passionate about and could talk about ad nauseum. So I won't go on for too long. But yeah, I'm very passionate about raising mental health awareness. And my friend Bonnie and I, she's also a fellow voice actor. Every single month, we do an Instagram live where it's like a monthly mental health check-in. I speak for a living. um, where we just kind of get real and we will talk about what's going on with us in our month and things we've dealt with and struggle different topics we'll chat about as it regards to being an artist or just living in the world or being a voice actor. Sometimes we have guests on. We have some plans to have some mental health professionals come on as guests in future episodes as well. And then we open it up to people in the chat if people want to pop on and talk about something, or if they want to reach out to us privately in DMs or something like that and share. We just like to be able to hold that space for fellow artists and fellow people. So that's a fun way we've been contributing and giving back as well. And um, that's also a facet of what I teach in my workshops and in my coaching. It's all a very heart centered approach. And so in every workshop that I teach, I have a section where I go through mental health and mindset things for actors because that's something we all deal with, especially as voice actors. We spend so much time alone in our booth recording, and there's so much rejection and challenges that arrive in the industry. And so I like to be able to give people tools to help them be able to navigate that so that they can feel more empowered and confident and happy about what they're doing, and therefore build a sense of community and confidence in themselves. So yeah, so that's some of it. But happy Mental Health Awareness Month, everybody.
Yeah, happy mental health awareness, jazz hands. And trust me, I go on about my own personal testimony of what I've been through, but I think I might have shared it in some previous episodes. But it's way too long. But TLDR, my experience are kind of pretty similar to yours. So that's just pretty much what I'm going to say for right now. I
Mm-hmm.
will save it for a future episode when the discussion of mental health is brought up again. So please give me accountability to those watching this right now. So yeah, let's talk about something that actually makes me, super happy because I've been and going back to our faith a little bit. I've been spending more time in the Word, reading the Bible, and
Mm-hmm.
I also really do want to point out, and I'm also sure that I mentioned this the last time that we spoke too, but I do wanted to point out Oh man, I think you had a scripture on your Twitter bio. I think, but I don't remember what it was. But I just think that, when we have, yeah, because for me, I have Psalm 23:1 that just tells me that He is my shepherd. I like not because most of us just think, oh, I need to have this, da 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 da. But I think when we're in His presence, I think He is enough for us to really feel so happy and joyful that he pretty much died for all of us. Like he was on the cross, he was tormented, beaten, all this stuff, and it just really reminds me of all the stories of the sacrifices that he made for us, and that kind of brings to mind all the sacrifices that we sometimes have to do with if we wanted to help, because let's just be real, this industry is kind of in a pretty weird spot right now, and not
Yeah.
to get into the specifics, yeah, it's a lot. So I think he's using us to be using us mightily to just be like the voices that just let our voices be heard of what's been going on to stand up against opposite, this oppression, opposition against us, especially, as followers of Christ, as Christians, African American, like all of my brothers and sisters that are just on this walk. And whether it's creating something that personally means a lot to us or just using our voices to make it, I mean, look, I'll just pretty much show this right now, like the SAG-AFTRA, the video game strike that we're in. It's an ongoing battle, and we're just going to continue using our voices for his glory and, for the kingdom. And specifically for all of us, as we're just really struggling right now with this economy. So it's just using us to just pray and fight for a better future. And that's pretty much what I'm going to say about that. So that's personally something that's been making me happy. Also talking about different media that also inspires us too. So what's stuff that you've been, you know, partaking in as of late? I know I just went off on a really passionate, just my own thing. So I just want to
Oh my
talk
gosh, I
about
love it.
your stuff. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
well,
why
first
don't
of
you?
all, thank you for sharing all of that. I love hearing that
Yeah.
as well. And I will say before I dive into the media, two of my favorite Bible verses that I really try to live by. One is "Be the light." Um,
That's the point.
that
Yes.
yeah, because I feel like that's my calling is to be a light in this world and in this industry for people. And then the other one is "God is within her; she will not fall," because that one always just helps give me strength in times of turbulence, and so I love that's the one that's most often in my bios. Um, but yeah, as far as media that I've been consuming, um, it's been a few different things. I'll give you three different facets, right? So for video games, the new Indiana Jones movie, the new Indiana Jones game recently came out, and I've been playing it on PlayStation on my PS5. It's been so fun because I love an action adventure, like RPG, and so I love Indiana Jones. I grew up loving Indiana Jones, and so that's been really fun to get to play. And I think that the graphics are great. I think the voice acting is great. It's just been so much fun getting to go on that adventure. So I've been playing that in my free time. I also, I think we talked about it last time too. I recently replayed Hogwarts Legacy again, just because for me it's like a cozy game. It's like something that I just like to revisit when I want to play something. Also too because, and this will tie into the TV part, because The Last of Us season two just finished. No spoilers, but it just finished season two. So that got me in the mood to replay it. So I've been replaying that as well and playing it also in The Last of Us Part 2 remastered and no return mode. So that way I can just like kind of go through and unlock different things. And so that's been really fun to replay. And then I have like a bunch more that are on my list that I'm going to be kind of bouncing back and forth between. I have like, I've been hearing great things about Claire Obscura, Expedition 33. I've been hearing great things, even though it's not newly come out, about Baldur's Gate 3, and so that's been on my list. I have been playing something called Phoenix Rising, and Hades and stuff like that because being Greek, I love anything with Greek mythology, so I love jumping into that kind of stuff. Um, so yeah, so I've been playing those mostly for video games, and then for television, yeah, The Last of Us. I love the video games, so I was very excited when The Last of Us came out, and this isn't a spoiler for anything, 'cause they announced it online, but they announced they're doing two more seasons to split up the second game into, and so we got a lot of it through Ellie's perspective this time, and we're going to go through Abby's perspective in the next season. So I'm really curious to see how they're going to do it, but I don't know how you felt watching it. The graphics in the show are incredible. Like I love seeing the footage online where it's like the side by side of how that scene is in the game and how they did it in the show, and like the way they've done Seattle and all these other locations, it just looks so cool. Um, so I was really geeking out about that as I was watching it. I I love a variety of different shows. I've been watching the newest season of Hacks just finished on HBO. That's a comedy. It's really funny. The series finale of Handmaid's Tale just ended, and so I was watching that too, which is great. But you need a palate cleanser when you're done. You need to like watch a Disney movie or something to feel hope again. But that's a really well done show as well. So yeah, so those are like a few of the TV shows I've been watching. I have an a never-ending list of other things that are recommended for me as I have time as well. And then as far as movies go, um, it's more. I've seen a few things lately, but I'm more excited for what's about to come out. Like I'm really excited for the new Jurassic Park movie. The trailer looks really cool, and I mean, it's just dinosaurs. You know what I mean, man? It's like that basic thing from being a kid where it's like, if there's dinosaurs, I'm in. So I'm really excited for that. I'm really excited for the live action How to Train Your Dragon, actually, because I love How to Train Your Dragon. It's one of my favorite animated movies, and I think they're doing so it seems, really good justice. It seems like a better live action adaptation that I've seen, at least from the trailers. So I'm really excited to see that when it comes out. So yeah, I think those are a few things that I'm watching and playing. And how about
Few
you?
things. Yeah, a few things goes on for 5 minutes. But for me, it's I've just kind of been playing my Nintendo Switch. I got it sitting over here. And I've just been playing like a lot of classic Game Boy, like the OG original Game Boy, not like the color advance. Well, like the OG Game Boy that came out of like the 80s and 90s. So they
Oh.
have that, yeah, on like for the Nintendo Switch. So those games are a lot of fun, but now I'm kind of addicted to Tetris. So but yeah, and I'm kind of starting to get into Ace Attorney recently. Persona is also another good one. I've been trying to find the itch to get back into Kingdom Hearts, but I just haven't really had the. I just don't really have much time to play a lot of video games now. I just kind of
Yeah.
primarily focus on like Sonic or Mario, Smash Brothers, or just some fighting games, Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, those are
Did you ever
therapy.
play stuff on Sega Genesis?
Yeah, like when it came out, like the physical Sega Genesis. Yeah, I used to play like the Sonic games. I think I played. Oh shoot. Okay, I think I did. I played the Ninja Turtles. Uh, and it was also the Streets of Rage. Like I said, just a lot of games that require you to go on the street and then just start, you know, going on. I mean, the new
Fighting.
Ninja Turtles game, a fighting game, beat 'em up games, those are kind of the stuff that I played very often. I should be concerned about that. But the new Turtles game, Shredder's Revenge, classic.
Oh, I
Just play
bet.
it if you
Did you ever
haven't.
play the Lion King one?
Oh man, I did not even know the Lion King had one, but I've seen footage of it. It looks a lot of fun, but some of the levels though, ooh.
Dude, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, quick side tangent about
Yeah.
that. So that game was one of the hardest games I've ever played in my life. And
Oh,
like
I can imagine.
Lion King's my favorite Disney movie. And so I played it all the time on Sega Genesis when it came out. And I could not, for the life of me, get past this one level. And, like, you know how it was back in the day. It's like there were no tutorials online, there were no codes. It was like if you can't figure it out and none of your friends can, you don't know how the game ends. So I, like, was just curious for years. And then I saw on TikTok, finally, like, someone had gotten to a later level and was doing a playthrough. And I was like, that's what comes after this, you know? And so I was like, I watched it that way, but I just saw an article like 2 days ago that the reason that the Lion King Sega Genesis game is so difficult is because Disney required that. It wasn't originally supposed to be as difficult as it was, but Disney wanted to make it harder because at the time Blockbuster was really popular and they didn't want people to
Blockbuster.
be able to play through the whole game during one rental period. So they made the game devs purposefully make it harder so that you'd have to keep renewing it and go back and play the game so that you could continue throughout it. And so it became notoriously more difficult than it was ever meant to be. And I was like, you mean it could have been easier and I could have beaten it like years ago? What the heck?
Yeah, kind of reminds me of those old Disney afternoon, like the DuckTales games that would be made from
Yes.
Capcom. I mean, most of the Capcom games are like, I mean, if you play Mega Man, people know what I'm talking about.
Mega
In case you're gonna tell,
Man,
I'm an old
yes.
school gamer. I'm from that, Gen 90s, Gen X crown, just trying to fit in with the Gen Z millennial. I mean, I am a millennial too, but so I can talk too. But yeah, just trying to learn a lot of this new Gen Z stuff, slang, and while trying desperately too hard to be a boomer. Like, what is this dang on Zoom ring? Like, what is this dabbing and you kids with your TikToks and the Snapchats with the phone and the yeeting? I just can't get y'all. I just don't get it, man. But
Same.
yeah, yeah. So I think we're almost just about wrapping up here. So what I'm gonna do is we'll just conclude in the next part coming shortly. But if you enjoyed this so far, let me do this real quick. Yeah, if you enjoyed this so far, let me know in the comments, and we shall conclude this 5, additional minutes or so. We'll just conclude it in like part two, I guess. So see you all coming in a little bit, and we'll just, you know, call it a night. Just have a good Memorial Day. Hope y'all it was fun and stuff. So yeah, I was just see y'all shortly. I'm back with outros. So, anyways, peace. Bye. Live long, Alrighty, here we are once again about to conclude today or tonight's little catch-up episode. But yeah, I just want to thank you, Jayme, once again for joining me. Let me know if there's anything else that you'd like to share right now, but I think you've kind of probably already talked about most of everything that you're working on. So, was something new that you wanted to bring to the table since we're still, just hanging out and chatting and
Yeah, for
stuff?
sure. Well, first of all, again, I just want to say thank you so much again for bringing me on, Robert. Like I said, I love getting to chat and nerd out with you about different stuff. And I'm looking forward to our next chat whenever that happens as well. And for things that I can share at this exact moment, I will say check out Cerulean Summer when that gets released coming up soon. Like I said, once I have details, I'll be sharing that on all my socials and everything for everybody, so you can check that out. If you want to see what I'm up to on the casting side of things, follow at Berland Casting, Berland Casting. You can do that on X, on TikTok, on Instagram, Facebook, and you can see everything that we're currently working on and casting there. And sometimes we post breakdowns there as well. So for any actors, particularly those that are unrepped that are looking for different opportunities, be sure to check that out because we also share different tips and insights into casting and audition hacks and stuff like that. And we also have a series called Inside Room where we bring on different industry guests. Sometimes it's agents, other casting directors, talent, and we talk about different topics usually once a month or once every couple of months. So, yeah, definitely check that out. That's something I'm excited about. And stay tuned for everything else.
Yeah. And what would you say were some of your biggest, like, I guess, projects or anything that you've worked on? It could just be your own projects you've worked with other people, writing wise. What are the ones that you really look back on? And it just gives you just that, the reassurance that this is what you were, this is why you're doing this. Like, this is why this is just so for you and why I love doing this every single day. I get up and do all this crazy shenanigans and whatnot.
Yeah, totally, man. I mean, I will say I've been very lucky to work with some really talented people on different projects, things that I didn't even know would come on my radar. Like toward the end of last year, I think it was close to December, I recorded my very first anime. So I got to be multiple characters in an anime series that's on Amazon Prime right now, and so that was a really fun experience to get to have. I had so much fun recording that, and I also got to do my first live action dub on Netflix around the same time. And so I got to practice doing dubs for two totally different mediums and working with a bunch of really talented people and a bunch of great castmates that I get to share that project with. And so that was really fun. Um, I think honestly for different reasons every project holds its own value to me. You know, the first time I booked a video game, the first time I booked an animated feature, working on these audio dramas, every facet is different and fun and interesting. And I honestly really like working in commercials too. I wasn't sure that I would, but there's so much more fun and versatility to commercial voiceover work than I think people realize. And so that's something that I'm excited to share in my classes, because I think people just think, oh, it's just boring, silly kind of copy, but there's a lot more fun to be had with it. And so I really enjoy doing that. As far as other personal projects, I have an adult animated series that's a paranormal series that I've been working on with my writing partner. We have a really solid pilot, and we have a really talented animator attached to it as well to do a pitch deck. And so we're working on that and hoping to develop and either crowdfund or sell that and get that made. But that's a project that's really near and dear to my heart as well. Um, so yeah, really looking forward to continuing to work on that. But I think that's it. Yeah. It
It's so much fun being on the other side of the glass. And
is.
we got to share a lot of, dude, we need to share scripts, by the time we wrap this up. Man, I swear, I cannot wait to share with you. And you should probably show me some stuff too. So, writer to writer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally, man. Absolutely.
Um, yeah, and I think part of the reason, part of the journey is so fun is that we get to do conventions and just do interact with all of these people that you've seen, whether on the internet or just work in studio. But yeah, if you've been to any cons, I'd love to hear some experiences of doing them, if you can share real
Yeah,
quick.
for sure. I haven't been to a con like where I'm, on a panel or anything like that
Right.
yet. I'm
Yeah.
very excited for that experience, but I did go to my very first con this year. I went to WonderCon, and
What?
yeah, and that was so much fun. I went with a friend of mine, and because my really talented, lovely friend Isaac, who plays
Isaac
uh,
Smith?
yeah, Isaac
Robinson?
Robinson Smith. Yeah,
Smith,
yeah, who's
yes.
in X Men
Oh my
'97.
God. Dude, I was there. Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh, amazing. Yeah, he
Yeah, I
invited
met.
me. And
Yeah,
so my friend and I went. We went to go support him and then kind of hang out, and it was a really fun time because we
it was
went to
so
the
much fun. It
it
was
was
really
so much
cool.
fun,
Yeah,
right? Like we went to a couple of the panels that he was on,
yeah.
with some other great voice actor talent. I went with her to a different panel on voice directing that had the
Mhm.
incredible Serena Irwin and
Oh,
other amazing voice directors who do tons of animation and everything. And so it was really cool getting to hear from their perspective on things and chat with them for a few minutes afterwards. Um, and then, yeah, just honestly, I really loved walking down Artist Alley. I walked away with a couple of prints for my booth for sure. And that was a really fun experience because I love artists in all shapes and sizes and forms. And so I love getting to see people's different styles and supporting them and checking it out. And um, yeah, that was, and like for me, a highlight of that was I went to this one booth and I was kind of just looking through prints and I saw one for Swan Princess. And that was one of my favorite animated movies when I was a kid. And so I loved it. And I was talking to the guy and I was like, oh, yeah, I really like this print. And he was like, oh, yeah, I was the character designer on that movie. I did all these characters. And I was like, what? So we were chatting with him for a moment and like baby Jamie's head exploded and then he was like, oh yeah, you want me to like autograph the print for you? And I was like, do I? So now I have this autographed print from Swan Princess up in my booth and it was just like a highlight moment for me. um, and then I got another really cool one of Jinx from Arcane by this amazing female artist. And yeah, so I love getting to do that experience as well. It was really fun and it was really cool seeing everybody in their different like cosplay outfits and everything too. Like yeah, it definitely won't be my last con, but it was a really good first one to go to.
Yeah, it really was. I think it was one of my first that I went to. Well, not this year because I just started doing conventions again in 23 after, COVID and everything. But
Yeah.
yeah, my WonderCon experience, just real quick. Yeah, it was a lot of fun because I was only there. Did you go all 3 days, by the way? Just want to double check.
No, I just went for one day.
And which day was it?
Sunday? Yeah,
Oh, I was
Sunday.
there Saturday. Man, dang. Yeah,
And
so I was
shit.
there. Yeah, next time, one of these days we'll, you know, cross paths. I don't know. Just I'm praying.
For sure, for
Fingers
sure.
crossed. Yeah, but yeah, real quick, my WonderCon experience on Saturday. So I went with my mom and we just went to a couple of different panel. I think we did like one, and then we just kind of hung around like the main area, like what they say is like the main attraction, which is like artist alley, just all these different booths down in the main area where they be having everything. And I think I saw like a voiceover booth there. I'm not quite sure, but I definitely took a look at some artist stuff. And speaking of like Disney and whatnot, the creator of Amphibia, Matt Braley, was there. And
No
just
way.
as yeah, no, I'm not even kidding. I'm not kidding. I have pictures. Like I'll just send it once this is over. But yeah. Um, we were just walking out, right? And I saw his booth and he gave me a Amphibia poster for free because we were just wrapping up. So thank you, Matt, if you're listening to this. Thank you so much. God bless you, brother. But yeah, like Amphibia print was like unbelievable. And I did the cartoon voices panel that they be doing every at these WonderCons where some of the best, some of the top voiceover talent in the industry. So we got in like around halfway and we got to hear them like recite or read like poems and poetry. And like I think it was Goldilocks, and they did excellent. So if I'm leaving out anybody, my brain is fried right now. I'm so sorry, but y'all did amazing. Thank you, Mark, for hosting it. And yeah, it was a lot of fun. This is why I like doing conventions like this because it's family friendly. You see cosplays and get to meet the people. Oh, and okay. I did meet Lori Allen and the Spanish
Oh,
SpongeBob
love it.
voice. Tom Kenny was supposed to be there, but he ended up getting sick. I was really bummed about that. But I may get another chance in a couple weeks for NostalgiaCon here in Anaheim. So
There you
yeah,
go.
better watch out. I got my SpongeBob swag over here. Let's do it. Let's go, man. We about to party like it's 1999 or 2024. I don't know the term anymore, but yeah, it was a lot of fun. So that was kind of our convention experience. Just want to throw that out there. And yeah, It's a great deal of fun. So, enough about me rambling. What is something that you want to close this out with? Just any last bit of advice, just closing thoughts, all that, all the good stuff.
Yeah,
Just
for
take it away.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll just
Close this
say
with some wisdom.
closing with some wisdom.
Sensei.
One thing I would like to say, of course, for anybody who shares our faith, everything is that God is good and is everywhere, at all times. And so, um, I encourage people, especially just because there's so much, we're oversaturated with a lot of negative feedback in news and media and things right now, to take some time to notice the good in the world every day and just like focus on those moments and moments of pockets of gratitude and pockets of joy wherever you can find them. And I will also say, too, just on a personal note, especially because we're closing out for Mental Health Awareness Month, I just want to personally tell everybody that you matter and you are important and you are loved and cared about and valid just as you are. So I just want to send that message of love out to everybody who may be listening or watching.
Amen to that. Amen, amen, amen. Um, do you also want to give a shout out to your roommate?
Yeah, absolutely. Always. Shout out to my roommate, Chelsea Krause, who is just in the other room as we speak. And she is an incredibly talented voice actor as well. You can hear her in Genshin Impact, Honkai Star Rail, a lot of amazing things. She's incredible, and I'm very happy to have her as a friend and roommate. So if you guys want to give her a follow at Chelsea Krause on all the socials as well, give her a little bit of love and support.
And where can people check out your stuff, if you don't mind me asking?
Yeah. So I said earlier the casting stuff. If you guys want to check out my casting stuff there, if you want to know more about my voice acting and things that I do and all those updates on that side of things, it is at Jayme Mantos at JaymeMantos on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. I'm on Discord as well, but I'm not quite as active on there. So recommend checking me out on the other places. Usually I'm the most active on Instagram. But yeah, give me a follow there and see what's going on.
Yeah, right on. And if you want to hire Jamie for casting, you know where to reach her and writing and a bunch of other
Casting,
stuff.
acting, writing, any of it. Feel
Yeah.
free.
So yeah. So who knows? Maybe a future collab with the two of us. You know?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah, right on. And for the outro, if you like to say your name, projects, and this is Station Square with Robert Jackson, that would be great.
Yeah, so sorry, say the last part with Robert Jackson?
It's the Station Square podcast with Robert Jackson.
The Station Square?
Yeah, Station Square podcast with
Got it. Yeah.
yeah.
Hey guys, I'm Jayme Mantos. I've been on the Station Square podcast with Robert Jackson, and I hope you've had fun tuning in and listening. We'll check you out next time.
Yeah, right on. And you could just share, your credits, portfolio, if that's yeah, since we're kind of at the end.
Yeah,
Um,
for sure. I
share.
mean, a few things you guys can check me out in if you are interested in seeing some of my work on Amazon Prime. The anime that I referenced earlier is called Magilumiere Magical Girls Inc. So you can check that out on Prime. I the live action dub that I was in, I'm a bunch of different voices in. I am Ilari season 1 on Netflix. Or Ilari, I believe. So you can check that out as well. There is a mobile game called Murders in Malibu. I am a bunch of different voices in that game, so if you find yourself playing that, you'll probably hear me in there. Um, and then, yeah, like I said, in the upcoming audio drama Cerulean Summer, listen for me in there. I play the role of the flight attendant at the very beginning of the episode, so I get to kick things off as we soar off on that adventure. And yeah, also, if you happen to be hearing it, I'm the voice of Circle K at the moment. So if you hear any Circle K commercials, you're likely hearing me. So you're welcome for that.
And of course, we can't leave out Cerulean Summer that you just mentioned.
Yeah,
Yeah, so
exactly.
just yeah, check that out, flight attendant, and yeah, you're just pretty much everywhere a danger. So if you hear in a Circle K or whichever video game audio thing that you might be just so happy to listen to her voice, like there's a good chance that it might be her. So better watch out, y'all. Better watch out. Yeah. Do you have like any goodbyes or farewells or? Okay.
I don't think so. Not more than I already did. Just thank you guys all so much for listening. Thank you, Robert, for having me, and I'm looking forward to our next chat as well as collaborating on projects together.
Anytime. And to close this out, every day you can feel like a winner at David Buster's, totally not sponsored. Please, Cypress. But
Sponsored.
sponsor. But yeah, anyways, for realsies though, thank you so much for watching. And I know this is kind of a little bit longer than anticipated, but we just love talking and chatting about so much stuff, man. But yeah, this has been Station Square with me, Robert Jackson, and Jayme Mantos. Man, I'm so sorry, man. Long day. Am I getting it
You're
right?
good. Yeah, Jayme Mantos.
Jayme Mantos. Brain. But anyways, thank you so much for watching. And yeah, my brain, this is gonna haunt me for the rest of the night.
You're good,
so
dude. You're good.
so yeah, check out my projects. Stay tuned for the not casting calls, casting announcements that should be coming out this week or next week. So keep on the lookout for that, and be sure to look out for any future collabs with me and Jayme. And yeah, be a winner and go get them. And have a good rest of your summertime or July, whichever that entails. And I'll talk to y'all later. Live long and prosper. Peace out, my homies. God loves you. Bye.